lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you.
From Talladega Superspeedway in beautiful Alabama, just south of Interstate 20, the extreme scoring Ricmotech Cup Series is ready to turn 94 blistering hot laps at the circuit's biggest track. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Riegel here alongside Tony Trapasso, and we're here to bring you all the action on this 2.66-mile superspeedway in the heart of Dixie. The drivers are ready, your broadcasters are ready, and we're ready to go from the green flag to the checkered flag on Sim Racing Media. And Tony, as always, great to be with you. Looks like we're going to have a pretty full field tonight. Looks like 22 drivers so far in for the meeting right now. DJ Weeks and Brandon Shirley haven't gone out for practice yet, but so far with these playoffs now looming here in the finale, looks like it's going to be a big night.
Absolutely. Regular season finale. Top 12 move into the playoffs. And a couple things to note, Alonzo King not here tonight. Currently sitting 11th in points, only 21 points to the good. He's going to lose on show-up points. Brandon Shirley, who is coming in tonight, 12th in points, is here. Wes Gant is here. Greg Carr, Mark Hanna, David Clayman, and Alex Carr are all here. I'm not saying they've got to win, but those guys need good points nights to even have a shot at it. With Alonzo King not being here, that's going to move Brandon Shirley just before the green flag even flies. That moves Brandon Shirley into 11th in points just based on show-up points. Wes Gant moves into 12th based on show-up points because he's only 3 back from Brandon. Wes Carr is only 9, minus 9 from... Greg Carr is 9 back from Wes. Mark Hanna is another 1 back. David Clayman, minus 6, and Alex Carr, minus 4 from there. So mathematically, your top 17 have a shot at this one. Everybody from 18th, which is currently Scott Ramler, on back, they're just looking to play spoiler. That's all they're looking to do.
Well, and whether or not you're going for that playoff spot and whether or not you're going to be a spoiler, this is Talladega. This is a special place to put that feather in your cap. I mean, no matter what kind of a driver you are, whether you're, here atop the pile like Bryce Senesac or deeper into the standings as we get way back to, Jonathan Leach back in 28th. I mean, the boss man not out here on track tonight for the meeting, but,
family issues.
It's still Talladega. Yeah. And, it's still Talladega. It's still, a super speedway. And realistically, it's kind of a wild card race. Even if you're someone who does need to get, to win to get in, this is the place that you're going to have the best chance to do that.
It is, but it's also a place where, through no fault of your own, your race could be over on lap 1. And that's really what these guys have to be very careful of, especially the guys that are right around that cutoff area. They've got to tiptoe for the first 90 laps of this piece.
Without a doubt. I mean, you as long as you're going to save your stuff and keep your equipment the way that it, I guess as far as Q would have said in the old Bond movies, just bring it back in pristine order. As long as you can do that, through the middle of this race and get toward that last, let's just say 4 to 14 laps, you can probably have a good shot here at the end. I mean, these next-gen cars already very draft-reliant here. So, overall, definitely a next-gen kind of a night.
It is, especially if we take a look at the weather conditions tonight, Dave. These are some of the best conditions we have seen over the last couple of weeks. 71-degree ambient air temperature, partly cloudy skies. That track temperature, only 87 degrees. And I say only, but compare that to what you and I saw Sunday at Texas. It was 100 and what?
Yeah,
on track?
101, it was 111 on the track itself.
And last night for another series that I broadcast, it was 131 when they took the green.
Right. So this is definitely a welcome change of scenery. Of course, right here, when you say partly cloudy, as we look here on the drone cam in the middle of the infield, more like cloudy, and that's just fine for most of these drivers as we are just about to begin qualifying here at Talladega Superspeedway as practice is finishing up. The drivers' meeting is just finishing up. Tony, it seems like it's going to be that kind of a night here as drivers now getting back in the cars to qualify.
They are, and looks like
we are just waiting for them.
We are just waiting to see who's going to be the first one to throw it into gear.
The anticipation is killing me. Here we go.
Bryce
Senesac is out
Senesac.
on track.
As you do.
Here in the 09 Primetime Chevrolet.
2 flying laps here tonight at Talladega, which is a little bit different than a lot of the other leagues that we broadcast do. Normally it's one and done here on the plate tracks, but, hey, it's going to take a lap and a half to get these cars really up to full song. And we're probably going to see everybody pick up on that second lap.
Oh, without a doubt. Even where Senesac is running right now in that middle groove, basically that's the middle high groove. All he's doing right now is getting those tires warmed up and getting as much speed loaded into this car. Even as he comes into the tri-oval just now, here's where we're going to start to see him hug that yellow line as he comes toward the start-finish line on the backside of this dog leg here, and now we're going to see his hot lap.
And he's going to dive it down the hill going into one. Actually, no, this is his first actual flyer. He's still going to be up on that yellow line, or up on the white dotted line on the outside. And it's just to make the track as long as possible to make sure that you've got that engine wound up. You've got the gerbil up to full speed under the hood. And another thing to note of, Dave, here at the plate track at Talladega, this is the tallest rear spoiler we are going to see all season long. You can actually see the blade here as opposed to just that little thing that they have on them at the rest of the tracks we go to.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a spoiler and not just a little nubbin on the back of the machine here. And just as we see Senesac come toward the start-finish line, now we see him really hug this yellow line as, I guess from my perspective up here, that is his second lap.
He's on lap 2 right now.
Interesting.
But he's not going to get more than maybe a tire width and a half off of that mustard line on his left there. You're just trying to hold the car straight as possible, coming down the back chute. And you can see it right there. Maybe a tire width and a half off that yellow line, and he's not wavering at all. As he brings it out of turn number 4. Good head of steam for him right now. Went purple in the first sector.
177.
Went purple in sector 1. Let's see what sector 2 is going to bring. Right to the top of the pile. 53.88 for Senesac. Greg Carr currently sitting second quick.
Going to take a look at Michael Thwaites here in that Space Force number 12 Chevrolet. Take a look at the speed that he's running here on his qualifier. Now, keep in mind, folks, that, of course, out here in the lone qualifier, you have no draft, you have no help. It is just you and a steering wheel. But right now, running 177, almost exactly like Senesac, 178 as he crosses the start-finish line.
And the only way you're going to be able to bump Senesac off is to get closer to that yellow line and not touch the apron. And
don't even think about it.
You've got to be millimeter perfect if you get any closer to that yellow line. But Thwaites, another one of those ones that currently coming into tonight, 10th in points. Only 4 points to the... He was 15 points to the good over Alonzo King, who had a 21-point gap back to Brandon Shirley. Between King and Shirley, that's gone because King's not here. So, Thwaites doesn't need to win to move on into the playoffs, but he needs a solid finish. He can't be one of the first ones taken out, that's for sure.
No, in fact, I think we're going to see a lot of these drivers that have potential to move on in the playoffs, and basically here in the finale, this is your last chance. I think we see a lot of these guys that know that it's a win and you're in situation, or do really, really well and you're in situation. We're going to see them start back a little deeper in the field tonight as they want to protect that machine. Basically, here's the thing, folks. At Talladega or Daytona, either of the Superspeedway tracks, you either want to be at the front, where, of course, you're going to be ripping through fuel, but you want to be at the front where all of the mess is behind you, or you want to be at the rear where all of the mess is in front of you and you can avoid. Tony, quite frankly, I like to be near the front in these Superspeedway races, as close to the front as I can get. If I'm in the middle, I'm ready to back out and ride the rear.
If I'm not one of the first 2 cars on the inside lane, I'm bailing out down the backstretch. Quick thing of note, Wes Gant, currently coming into tonight, just based on show-up points, Gant is currently sitting in 12th. Out on track right now is first lap getting ready to be put in the books. 16th quick.
The Taylorsville, North Carolina native out here in his number 11 Valvoline Chevrolet. What a sharp-looking paint scheme. I mean, Valvoline, a longtime partner of Chevrolet, and, of course, JR Motorsports over in Mooresville, North Carolina. But just a good-looking paint scheme, Tony.
You know who else has a pretty good-looking paint scheme tonight?
I sure do.
The 55 of Adam Capps.
Oh, we weren't going there. Oh, I do like that. The Elite Motorsports Toyota Camry. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Currently
And
sitting
of course,
atop
as
the
we're-
pile. Oh my. Brandon Shirley just sent one across the bow right to the top of the heap, 53.84.
Yeah. They said across her nose, not up it. My goodness. 200th of a second ahead of Adam Capps. Speaking of that particular film, let's take a look at Rich Reimuller, who was our winner last week. I'll tell you what, here in Spaceballs, the Chevrolet, currently sitting third on the pile right now. 200th of a second behind Brandon Shirley, tied with Adam Capps in time.
Well, I just took a look at what it says on the back of his car. We brake for nobody. You're going to want to be able to use that middle pedal here tonight.
Without a doubt. I mean, right now you want to be able to clutch and just get a little bit of torque out of that. Stand by. Sorry, was reading 17 different things all at once here. I can read real nice.
Yay.
GT Hawkins about the last car on his qualifier as he gets ready to cross the start-finish line. Let's see where he finally gets a time in 22nd. So maybe he's sandbagging tonight.
Well, no, he was just using that upper lane on his first lap to get that car wound up. You can see him right now. He's right down on that yellow line, down the back straightaway, hauling the mail as best he can right now. And just like that, 23 cars here tonight. Dustin Carroll on his second lap jumps up to 21st. Hawkins is definitely going to improve on his second lap. Let's see by how much, as he's right down on that yellow line coming through the tri-oval. And yes, Geico Restart Zone is in effect tonight. Oh yeah, no, that definitely is not a healthy thing to do. But
About 20 seconds, 15 now to the end of qualifying, Tony. What do you say we get settled in here and hear from our good friends over at Extreme?
roll that beautiful bean footage.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway, where Brandon Shirley sits atop the pile as our pole sitter. Tony, let's work on through the qualifying results. Brandon Shirley sits on the pole Adam Capps, where is that camera going? There we go. Adam Capps sitting on the outside of row number 1. Row 2 made up of Rich Reimuller, driver of Spaceballs, the race car, in his number 92 Chevrolet, with Alan Hilton in the Maestro's Glory Pole Company number 8 Chevrolet on the outside of row number 2. Row number 3 made up of Bryce Senesac, your points leader, and Greg Carr in the number 25 Chevrolet, with Clifton Cockrell and John Sterling in the number 3 GM Goodwrench Ford Mustang, and we'll talk about that just a moment after we gather our thoughts and feelings. Mike Rominger in the number 29 Chevrolet Camaro, and GT Hawkins rounds out the top 10 in his Glory Pole Company number 14 Toyota Camry. Tony, take us to row number 6.
It's going to have the autism awareness number 97 of DJ Weeks. He's going to be doing row number 7 goes to the 26 of Alex Carr and the 12 of Michael Thwaites. Thwaites not on track yet, but he will be gritting up momentarily. Jeremy Clifton in the ace is going to be joined with Brian Wasserman. That is row number 8. Row 9 goes to Max. Where are we? Max Shade and Mark Hurricane Hanna. Hanna, one of those ones that still is mathematically eligible to try to pull this off. So keep your eye on him tonight for the points. Wes Gant and David Clayman rolling off in row number 10. Row 11 is going to go to Jeff Taylor and Dustin Carroll. Starting shotgun on the field all by his lonesome in the 24. That's going to be Jason Johnson. So 23 cars going to roll it here tonight, Dave. 75% fuel fill, 5 total sets of tires to get them through the race. The set that they qualified on is the set that they have to start the race on, and then they've got 4 more sets laying on pit road, which, as we've seen time and time again, tires pretty negligible here. Tire wear almost non-existent at the plate tracks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no matter how much you try to look at it, on a plate track like this, you're moving fast enough. Those tires are pumped up, to just about their max to reduce the amount of drag on the racetrack. So they're barely touching. These cars just about floating around here. As we come down the backstretch, we can see Brandon Shirley and Adam Capps giving plenty of room to the iRacing.com pace car as we look through this field. I mean, Tony, there is nothing more beautiful to me than watching that field work its way around and get ready for the green flag.
It is, and there's something special about Talladega. I mean, you can say what you want to about every other track on the circuit, but there's something special when you come here. Whether it be the old Indian burial ground, whether it be the old Air Force Base, something makes this place special. And you know what it is? It's the fans. That's what makes this place special, because you're not going to find a rowdier bunch of people than the Roll Tide crew here at Talladega, Alabama.
Without a doubt. And Tony, looks like that pace car is diving down pit road.
Well, it's making that lazy left-hand turn below the mustard line. Brandon Shirley going to have the button as he brings him into the trial. Well, the only thing he's left to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some barbecue because it's time to get it on in the dirty South. Race fans, it's showtime!
Brandon Shirley and Adam Capps hit the loud pedal as the 92 of Reimuller is right on the rear bumper of Shirley as we come across the start-finish line to get underway here at Talladega Superspeedway. Dave Regal and Tony Trapasso here in the broadcast booth with you. As quickly tonight so far, we have gone single file here on the low side, dropping the 55 of Adam Capps way back in the field as he's trying to get some kind of organization going on the high side, Tony, as that seems to have fallen apart pretty early here, dropping back about 6 car lengths as now Capps is being pushed along by John Sterling.
Yeah, Capps not having a say in this anymore, as Sterling definitely giving him a good shove from behind. The one I'm keeping my eye on right now is that 25 of Greg Carr. Definitely in a needs to finish in the top half of the field to even have a shot at it situation. But Looks like something might be wrong with the 10 of Clifton Cockrell. He is dropping back. Probably just wants to get out of the chippiness that's going on in front of him. Now he's in a 3-wide situation. That is never a good idea. As Thwaites on the low side, Jeremy Clifton Cockrell right next to each other. That's not going to get confusing at all.
No, that's going to be just fine. We can read real good. Well, right now it looks like Cockrell's going to hold himself there on the high side as they've now gone double file. He's decided that maybe 3-wide racing down the backstretch at Talladega, not something that he wants to do this early in the race. As we pull that beautiful ticker up here, get it on top of your screen. With 3 laps, 3 wide is no way to be. As Brandon Shirley leads this piece, now Adam Capps gets that top line organized behind him. And I'll tell you what, John Sterling should get the drafting partner of the race award at this point, as he is just bumping Capps all the way down the backstretch into turn number 3.
And that's the only downside to these next-gen cars is the digital dash on them. When we go into the trucks, you can see when somebody's temperatures are rising. We can't see that on the digital dash, so you got to wonder how hot did Sterling just get that car trying to push the 55 up there, drops down, the 55 stays on the top shelf as now he picks up David Elliott. But Sterling going to lead this one as we've already got 3 in the books, Dave.
Yeah, and here on lap number 4, it looks like we're going to be staying 2 wide. You know, a lot of times, especially at Daytona, we see that top line kind of work more like dropping your kids off at school. You can get them right there to the front of the line, and next thing you know, you're sliding backwards, once you get abandoned. But right now, it seems like these 6 cars on the top side holding their own with this front pack, as several cars here, of course, have now fallen by the wayside, as we're going to drop back here to see what's going on toward the back. Second grouping now, led by the 11 of Wes Gant. Looks like maybe they're trying to hang out here. That's Gant, David Clayman, Dustin Carroll, and Jason Johnson with Jeff Taylor in the second group here. So that first one, 18 cars in this lead pack. I'm sure, Tony, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm sure nothing bad's going to happen in this front pack at all. It's going to be
so
great.
you can get your hate mail coming now, folks. It's Dave Regal, care of Sim Racing Media Towers, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, P.O. Box 0U812.
Yeah, I'm watching this up here. I mean, these drivers, you can see the skill. Tony, you and I have been in the public servers for a lot of these restrictor plate races. We've, of course, been in other leagues for restrictor plate races. And so far, I am extremely impressed by both trips to Superspeedways that we've seen here on the Ricmotech ExtremeScoring.info Cup Series. As David Elliott, your current race leader in the... Now he's...
No, it's not.
Of course he is.
Clifton Cockrell able to steal that one at the line by half a car length.
My goodness. Quite a push that he had gotten from Michael Thwaites. They're just kind of exchanging positions right now, logging laps, as we have 6 in the books so far. And now that bottom line starting to tighten up again. Folks, I want to pull up the dashboard here in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Right now I have John Sterling. Sterling running at 188. Remember, we were looking at the qualifying time of John Sterling during his qualifying effort. That would be when you'd look at that. I see what I did to myself.
You're 10 miles an hour faster in the draft right now, at least 10 miles an hour faster.
Now watch this run that Sterling's about to get behind the 55, and you're going to watch that speed go all the way up almost to 196 before he gets gets to turn 3 on the backstretch.
Are you live?
My goodness. Yeah, why?
Because they're coming onto the backstretch now.
Yeah, they're on the backstretch right now.
Are you sure you're not smelling burnt toast?
Yeah, Jeremy Clifton on the high side here coming into turn number 3 in the Maestro's number 1 Chevrolet Camaro. Oh, the 29 getting a little loose behind Thwaites as now they come into the tri-oval. Am I close, Tony?
Wow, yeah, you're better this time. Adam Capps shot out of a cannon, almost gets into the back bumper of Jeremy Clifton as that top lane is pretty much disintegrated. but they've got 4 up there right now. The 3 chase vehicles, if they can get to the back of Cliff and Cockrell's, Cockrell jumps back down, wants nothing to do with leading that outside lane right now. But the 3 cars, and this is, I have this on good authority from our good friend Big Mac, Greg McConey, one of our broadcast partners here at Sim Racing Media, has told me that if you can get 3 cars that know what they're doing, and you get them hooked up nose to tail on that upper lane, they can be the fastest 3 cars on the track any given lap, and the field will never catch them. But you've got to have at least 3. They've got to be willing to work with each other all race long to do it.
Is that so?
Because in the second lane, especially because the thing we found out, and we initially found it out back in February at Daytona in the real world, and iRacing got it right when they did the aero package and handling package on this car for the Superspeedways. The bottom lane will bog the motor here at the plate tracks. Whereas if you're up where Thwaites is right now and you have help, you can let that engine wind out a little bit more. As we're 3 wide going through the tri-oval. Oh boy. I'm sorry, I'm having nightmares of Texas seeing 3 wide.
Yeah, that was a rough race that you had on Sunday evening.
Which one?
It's considered evening. Yes. Actually, both races that you covered on Sunday. One of them that I helped you cover there in the nightcap after I was taken out swiftly. 3 wide at Texas was dangerous. 3 wide at Talladega is ludicrous.
Speaking of ludicrous, Rich Reimler still in the top 10. Just kind of flirting with it right now.
As we do take a look here at Rich Reimler. Rich Reimler, if you folks are over there on xmsracing.com, when you look at the season standings, you see that Rich Reimler has multiple wins on the season so far, but he is not going to be a playoff driver, as he had not come into the season until just a little late, and basically has not run the minimum required number of races in order to qualify for the playoffs. So, unfortunately for Reimler, he won't make it. Yeah. I think he's got 2 wins out of 5 starts.
Well, coming in tonight, two wins out of 4, so he's batting .500 right now. You see what I did there? You see what I did there?
Did. Can I go there and check those things?
Crap. Donna Kane, thanks for checking in, cheering on the 14 of GT Hawkins tonight. GT right now kind of just biding his time in the mid-pack, not wanting to really push the issue. Safely in the playoffs, I might add. As a matter of fact, he's as of right this second, GT is sitting as the 2nd seed when the playoffs start.
And since you asked, and I know that you were concerned, as you had brought up Rich Reimler being 2 for 4, batting .500. Right now on the north side of Chicago, Philadelphia Phillies and the Chicago Cubs tied at 1 in the bottom of the 6th with 1 out, and Zach McKinstry up to bat. Busy night there in North Chicago, as the Phillies, of course, in that wild card chase over for Major League Baseball.
I'll be completely honest with you, Dave. I could not care any less about baseball if I tried right now, because it's preseason hockey season, brother.
I know. The Devils were on Monday night. The Flyers are on, I think, tonight again. It's a busy... Listen, if you're a sports fan, folks, this is kind of like your drug.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
There's probably a reason that I sing and you talk. Probably. Just a guess. But,
by the way, we're going to karaoke when we go to Miami.
Oh, I love a good karaoke. I'm going to rock out Billy Joel. Done. Called it. I placed it in an eternal state of dibs.
I plan on doing my best imitation of Lemmy from Motorhead.
I think you should sing Tequila.
No. I've done that before.
It's a great... You would.
For a buddy of mine's
no.
birthday, he goes, dude, we got to sing a song. I said, okay. What do you want to sing? He goes, dude, I'm terrified. I said, okay, I got the perfect song. Walked up to the DJ, handed him the piece of paper. He goes, really? I said, he's scared. So what I did was I grabbed the 2 cordless mics and brought them back to our table. And we just sat there reading the local magazine or, city magazine, whatever you want to call it. And I'd tap him on the shoulder and point, and he'd say tequila, and then we'd go back to reading. And then he'd swap my paper, and I'd look up and say tequila, and everybody just laughed with their backsides off. It was a good night.
I mean, look, that
tequila was involved,
he'll
by
never
the way.
forget.
Tequila was involved.
I would hope that it was. Do you think it's probably too soon, especially because it's going to be Miami, that we asked to order like a hurricane?
Ooh.
I mean, too soon? Just checking. By
Dude,
the way,
that's
folks,
not cool. That is not
cool. In all honesty, folks, especially as we think about our good friend Angel Santiago, who lives in Florida, we do want to make sure that our thoughts and prayers, just in case.
And Maddie Metler, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Make sure that you are thinking of and praying for the folks in Florida as, of course, Hurricane Ian about to wreak havoc on that state. And speaking of havoc, it looks like the 55 wants to push the 25 around like crazy.
He does. But if you want to know how you can help with hurricane relief, go down to your local branch of the Red Cross and donate blood, donate plasma. They are going to need it with the size of this storm that's coming through the Gulf Coast right now.
Without a doubt. And, it seems like a lot of the folks that we either race with, broadcast, or work with at Sim Racing Media, are from that general area, the Gulf area. So, a lot of people that you and I personally know or, can be affected by this. But, wow. Yeah, just a busy night there in Florida as they're all getting prepared. I know my dad's lady friend, I'm going to call her, she lives in Port Charlotte, just outside of Tampa Bay. And, she's pretty much strapped in with a helmet on, waiting for all hell to break loose.
And the other thing that you can do to help is you go down to your local pool supply company. Go down to your local pool supply company, and I don't mean pool like the game. I mean pool like swimming pool supply, hot tub supply, whatever you have in your local area. And just go up to the counter and tell them that you want to buy chlorinated cleaner. They basically call it a shock treatment for pools. But that is going to be the best thing that you can help do, is have that sent down as a prepaid thing to the local hardware stores. Just pick a town in Florida. It doesn't matter. That's going to be affected by this hurricane. Pick any town and have your local hardware store send the local hardware store in that town prepaid pool shocker, because that's the best thing you can do to help get rid of the water damage and help eliminate any mold problems that might surface, because people's houses are going to be vastly affected by the size of this storm.
Absolutely. So make sure
we can get serious.
We can get serious. And surely we never joke. As the 25 right now being pushed around, we were just on the in-car cam of the 55 as he was bump drafting the 25 of Greg Carr all the way around this track. They have not come apart from one another for about 3 laps now, Tony. And with what looks to be now 19 laps in the books, it's a big night so far. But as we were mentioning earlier, this is the most wonderful time of the year in sports, as right now NASCAR in playoff form, baseball getting ready for our playoffs. The NFL is back. College football is back. Preseason hockey, just a couple of months away. It's indoor lacrosse. Then,
they've got the combine
NBA,
this coming weekend, by the way.
They do. And, of course, the NBA just around the corner. So if you're a sports fan, you're going to basically need to take a Valium.
Well, the other thing, too, is if you're a racing fan, this is some pretty good racing going on this time of year, especially if you're in the northeast of the United States. Guess what next week is, Dave?
Dirt Week?
Dirt Week, baby. They've been packing in the clay for the last couple of weeks here at the Steel Palace, and 50th anniversary. Can you believe it?
Listen, you thought that I don't pay attention to what you harp on every week, as if we're some kind of old married couple and I haven't heard from you in a while. Yeah, it's Dirt Week, and I'll tell you what, if I had the ability, I would absolutely come up and check that out in, what is that, Oswego, right?
Oswego, yes.
Yeah, I would love to come up there. Maybe next year I'll try to plan for that. I could probably tie a trip in, maybe to Cooperstown and Oswego. That'd be cool.
No, not Owego.
I said Oswego.
Owego's downstate.
I thought it was Oswego.
It is, but it's
Oswego.
Oswego.
God, I'm confused. Oswego.
Well, here's the thing. There's the Oswego County Airport that's in Fulton, New York, but downstate there's also Fulton County. When I was working at the airport at the Oswego County Airport, I can't tell you the number of private cocky pricks that would come in on their plane or jet. Where's my rental car? Dude, where are you trying to get to? I'm supposed to have a rental car here. And he shows me his paper. Dude, you're at the wrong airport like 4 hours away.
OMG.
Yeah, it used to be
That's
fun
fantastic.
to piss off the preppy pricks like that.
That's fantastic.
Would you like some fuel for your plane before you leave, sir? So not only do I get to break the news that he's in the wrong airport, in the wrong county, in the wrong end of the state, I then get to whack him for a $500 bill to fill his plane with fuel.
That's fantastic. All I can picture when I think of that airfield up there is like the TV show Wings. Was it kind of like being on Nantucket?
Smaller.
Even wilder.
The longest runway was
4,000.
The longest runway was 4,800 feet.
Whew, that is put the pedal to the metal and hope you make it at the end. Basically, people like me wouldn't be allowed on the plane because I'd slow it down.
They had that runway was just long enough so in case of an emergency at the Syracuse airport, they could land a jumbo jet there. Might have some problems getting it to take back off, but they could land it there.
They back it up, and they probably just wait until those back wheels are just on the asphalt, and then they say, all right, give it hell. Let's see what happens.
Pretty much.
Stand back, folks. I don't know what this thing's going to do.
Excuse
Tony,
me
what do you
while I
say we
whip
step
this
aside?
out.
Tony, what do you say we step aside and pay some bills from our wonderful sponsors over at Ricmotech and ExtremeScoring.info?
That sounds like the best idea you've had all night.
We'll be right back, folks, here on the Ricmotech Cup Series, brought to you also by ExtremeScoring.info here on Sim Racing Media.
Allow Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious eSports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
And we are back at Talladega for the regular season finale. A lot to race for here tonight at the biggest of them all. And as green flag pit stops starting to happen, you see everybody starting to bail out to come down pit road. It's like an Oklahoma land rush start. Currently, Greg Carr has the last spot in the playoffs. As if the race were to end right this second, Greg Carr would have the 12th spot. However, we still have quite a ways left to go as we're only on lap 26. So 75% fuel fill, that's kind of where we figured that they would be, Dave. It's right around 25 to 27 laps before they'd need to come in to get a fresh tank and go fast.
Well, you know what? That keeps this race exciting. I mean, especially as all these guys just coming off. Wow, the 97 of Dennis Weeks just poured a little bit of nitrous into the tank as he was coming off pit road. Side by side now with Bryce Senesac as Senesac hops ahead of him on the outlap. And that still leaves then these 4 cars here that are now, 5 cars coming down pit road now. Shade Cap, Shirley, and Rich Reimuller in the number 92. Spaceballs, the Camaro, as they're all in. So that's going to cycle Bryce Senesac up to the lead once these guys get back up to speed and around, as Adam Cap's still trying to get down pit road, and he is the last car to get into line.
And unfortunately for Wes Gant, popped for speeding on.
Off. This isn't the race that you want that to happen.
No, it is not.
Especially when you've gone 27 laps now with, we don't talk about that thing that we don't want to talk about, but 27 laps of racing here. So that kind of sets the tone, especially early on here as we're basically in the first quarter of this race, nearly the first third at this point. But Bryce Senesac, as he works his way around, that'll cycle everybody around now. Those drivers that were the last to come down on pit road, very well orchestrated. That should keep them on the lead lap.
It absolutely should. The only one that is currently sitting a lap or more down is Wes Gant in the 11 after getting popped for speeding. Actually, it was popped for speeding off, so we had to come back down for a 30-second hold. But got a little bit of a breakaway at the front of this piece, Dave, is that Senesac, Weeks, Rominger, Elliott, Greg Carr, Clifton Cockrell, Adam Capps, Rich Reimuller, David Clayman, all right there. Actually, I take that back. Reimuller is the caboose in that little front breakaway of 8.
Yeah, as Clayman,
but Clayman not Taylor, that far back.
No, Clayman and Jeff Taylor not that far back, about 7/10 of a second. And it looks like they may have finally caught the draft there as they start to close in now to 6/10 of a second. We're going to watch these two drivers. Folks, this is how effective drafting, as you had brought up earlier from Big Mac, this is how effective drafting can be at the Superspeedway. We're going to stay right here on Dave Clayman and Jeff Taylor as they're sucking up to the rear now of Clifton Cockrell in the 10 car. Remember, when we started looking at them, they were on just about almost 0.8 of a second, and now closing in now at 0.4 of a second. So that distance definitely closing in. It's actually fairly exciting there, Tony, as we get to see these two cars pull up to the rear now of Clifton Cockrell. That puts Cockrell at the front of this mini pack. And now, if these 3 cars can work together, they should be able to close the distance between Cockrell and Reimuller, which is currently 1.09 seconds.
Well, with 3 cars hooked up like that, if they do it right, and they've got to get just a tick more organized than they are, but if they do it right, they should be able to blow by that lead group.
Well, hopefully Big Mac Greg McConey can, maybe we can tell him, hey, listen, we appreciate the technical advice tonight. Speaking of Big Mac, I get to work with him on a Thursday, and I'll tell you what a technical wizard. As you know, I am more about cars with fenders, and of course on a a Thursday night we do open wheel racing in the Dallara 18s. Something when we started together, I didn't know anything. I had to buy the Dallara 18. And Greg is just so well versed in the open wheel.
Well, he's so well versed in setups, period. And the reason for that, partially because of who his brother is, but more importantly, it's because of where he went to school. Greg McConey and Ryan Newman have one very important thing in common. They both graduated with engineering degrees from Purdue.
The old Boilermaker. It's not just an alcoholic beverage, it's a train.
But, the other thing you got to consider is, kids, my biggest thing that I can tell you right now is if you want to get involved in racing, go to school. Learn a trade. Get a degree. If you want to, depending on what series you want to work with, some require different levels of education. But you need something after high school. Whether it be a technical school to learn to weld, learn to fabricate, paint, bodywork, doesn't matter. You need something that says, hey, I've got more than just a high school diploma.
And remember, when Tony says learn to fabricate, he doesn't mean go to school to be a lawyer or work for a news agency. He means, make car parts. See what I did there?
Yeah.
Fabrication.
I'm going to pretend you didn't just do that.
Oh, I did. But the best part is nobody else could hear me. I muted myself, so only you got that little tidbit of music entertainment. As
you're
David,
a dick.
Yes, sir. Yes, I am. As Rich Reimuller is now leading David Clayman and that mini group by 3.6 seconds. So things have definitely it's almost like a parachute now, as they could not get themselves together. A little unfortunate. So we look back up here to the lead pack, and Rich Reimuller, Adam Capps, Greg Carr, and Bryce Senesac, your race leader atop the pile, as Senesac gets a bump from DJ Weeks going down the backstretch into turn 3. DJ in that autism awareness number 97 Chevrolet Camaro. Keeping it close, keeping it even closer to him is Mike Rominger in the number 29 Chevrolet Camaro. Chevrolet Camaro. Is that harder to do than GM Goodrich Ford Mustang?
No, because reasons. Lots of reasons.
Speaking of those reasons, let's take a look here and see if we can't get a look at this paint scheme on the number 3 GM Goodrich Ford Mustang, driven by John Sterling. Tony, as we look at this, if this camera was just a little bit farther away, you would see that from farther away it does look like that Chevy Lumina from the mid-90s.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, as we're closer here, don't get me wrong, that finish on the car just looks tough. But you can definitely tell that it's a Mustang.
Especially from the back. The Ford plate really kills the illusion for me.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, John Sterling took his time with this.
No, it's a great paint scheme.
Oh, yeah. Goodness gracious, yes. From Sterling, Virginia, the 33-year-old, just trying to pay homage to the great one, the Intimidator. But, what?
I just took a look at something, Dave, and you're going to be interested in this one. G.T. Hawkins and Alan Hilton popped for speeding on under those green flag pit stops. Both of them held. Upset? I would dare say they're probably ready to spit nails.
Every time I think of spitting nails, there was a Looney Tune that in order to put a house together, they were spitting nails at the house and made it go together. Is that the same thing?
No.
Oh.
But, you can see Hawkins and Hilton running on the outside lane right now as they're trying to get their lap back the hard way.
Yeah, right now, Hawkins, Hilton, and Gant, the 3 drivers down a lap. In fact, Gant now down 2 laps as Bryce Senesac leads this pack through. Looks like the 14 and the 8 trying to get it back the hard way, just about there as they're working the outside. You almost have to wonder what Senesac is going to do if one of those guys just happens to drop in front of him.
Use him as a fuel pig.
Well, that's fair. That'll work.
And for those of you wondering what I meant when I said fuel pig, the car that is the lead of the line that you're in, they're the one punching the hole in the air. They're the one that has their foot through the floorboard trying to maintain that lead. Everybody behind them can run at 80%, 75% throttle and keep up. So, you know, it would behoove Bryce right now to let GT go and let him drop down.
Well, I completely agree. And out of this 9-car pack here in the lead, there's 7 of those cars on the lead lap. And, you know, to your point, I'm sure that Senesac is thinking about that, you know, and maybe considering it even as they come out of turn 4. I'm sorry, out of turn 2. It looks like...
No, you had it right the first time. That was 4.
Yep, sorry. It looks like they're just going to hang here on the top as they're trying to get organized. The 25 of Greg Carr trying to be the pusher, as now it looks like the 14 gets a run into 1, and maybe we're going to see that as they come onto the back stretch.
Well, you've got 4 cars lined up on that outside lane, and that's really what you need to try to get that line going. It's just Carr needs to get up there a little bit closer to the 55, and you can't be afraid to lay the bumper to somebody.
And there goes GT Hawkins and Alan Hilton now dropping in front of Bryce Senesac. And now Senesac, just like you said, he's going to use the 14 and the 8 as a pair of fuel pigs. Right now, the 14 is up here with his foot through the floor. The 8 car, that Maestro's Glory Pole,
the 2 teammates
Chevrolet Camaro, they are both teammates for Glory Pole. And I'll tell you what, they're going to basically be giving Bryce Senesac a break here on the throttle.
Right, and, you know, that's really what needs to happen. We're still looking 2 more stops minimum to get to the finish of this piece. So, you know, anything you can do to help is going to be greatly appreciated. But the fact that the 8 has been following the 14 for so many laps, the 8's just been happy to ride behind his teammate. So he's saving fuel, but conversely, you're still going to need to bring those cars down pit road together if you're going to have any shot at it tonight.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And I mean, even as we're looking at Senesac and these drivers, as they make their way through 1 and 2, I mean, nobody has really given up any kind of true real estate. As, you know, we're still very early in this race. 41 of 94 laps complete. Tony, I got to be honest, it looks like we should be about 8 to 9 laps away from that next round of pit stops.
Well, you're looking about 25 to 27 laps, depending on how much fuel you were saving. So, yeah, we're closing in on it. Sometime within the next 10 laps, we should see some takers coming down pit road.
Bryce Senesac, your race leader, with DJ Weeks in hot pursuit behind him. Mike Rominger running in 3rd. David Elliott in 4th. Rich Reimuller in Spaceballs the Camaro running in 5th. Adam Capps in 6th. And Greg Carr rounding out your top 7, as that is your lead pack, with Alan Hilton and GT Hawkins technically ahead of that lead pack, yet at the same time behind them. It's almost like they're in a paradox of some kind, where they've broken the line between the time-space continuum. Because although they went plaid, because if you think about it, they're at the back of the field, yet somehow they're leading the field. It's very confusing.
Well, it kind of reminds me of another league that I broadcast, that last year for the championship race, a guy was in GT Hawkins' position all race long. Like, something happened on the first lap, he went a lap down, got his lap back the hard way, went the entire race without that dreaded flag that we don't want to talk about. and got one coming to 2 to go. Got back on the lead lap and won the championship. It's that type of tenacity that you have to have if you want a shot at winning a championship in iRacing.
Yeah, I mean, perseverance is the name of the game, and you don't realize it when you're watching NASCAR on TV. It's not until you're intimately involved with it, like you and I are here on Sim Racing Media or over on the Independence Racing Network. Until you're sitting either in the cockpit or in the studio, you don't realize how much patience it takes to drive a race car.
Absolutely, it definitely takes a lot of patience. It's more taxing on the mind than it is on the body. Because oh no, those guys aren't athletes. Yeah, they are.
Trust me. Think about it this way, folks. You get in a car, and let's just say that you're driving from, Philadelphia to Myrtle Beach. That's a 9-hour drive. In those 9 hours, you're going to stop a few times. You're going to take a bathroom break, maybe stop at a Wawa, get a cup of coffee. And you're going to do that about every 3 to 5.5 hours. Okay? These drivers for 3 hours on a Sunday are doing 500 miles without stopping, without going to take a pee, without getting a cup of coffee. Whatever it takes. I mean, of course, I feel like there's enough adrenaline where you're just running at full throttle.
Well,
literally and figuratively.
They're not going to get a cup of coffee, but they do have drinks available in the cars.
Or if you're Dick Trickle, you've got a cigarette hole drilled into the front of your helmet.
No, you're not wrong. But he was using an open-face helmet anyways.
I'm sorry. Well, I remember when he had gone to a closed-face helmet and they drilled a hole through the middle of it. That is dedication to your addiction.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is, for people that say that race car drivers aren't athletes, let me ask you this. Are you familiar at all with bowling, Dave?
I am, sir.
Okay. Would you consider bowlers athletes?
I mean, my arm's usually sore by the end of the night. I could say yes.
Okay, but what about golfers? And I'm about to piss off a lot of people.
Yes, I would say that a golfer is an athlete.
Okay. So if a golfer is an athlete and a bowler is an athlete, but yet you can drink beer while doing both of those.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Race car drivers have to be careful of what, nasal sprays they use.
Fair point. Fair point.
Jeremy
You never
Mayfield.
Yeah, Wolf. That's not even too soon. That's just right on point.
But yeah, I mean, it's. I'd like to tell people it's a chess match at 200 miles an hour.
It really is. And, we talk about it week in and week out in the real life Cup Series. These drivers, yes, people might get upset with, a Kyle Larson or a Chase Elliott who makes a move to what other drivers think is too soon. And maybe they're right, or maybe that they're wrong. But, at the end of the day, you have to make those decisions at 200 miles an hour. Tony, I can't drive down I-95 when I go to see my mom in Myrtle Beach. I can't drive down I-95 without thinking, for 20 miles, I wonder if I should stop at Waffle House or Shoney's.
Yeah.
It takes me 20 miles just to decide that. Meanwhile, Bryce Senesac at 200 miles an hour is going, 2 tires, a tank of Go Fast. Maybe, no, you know what, we'll go 4 tires. Okay, let's go, hurry up.
Well, he's got to be, if he's going to have a shot at this one, he's got to be communicating, especially with the 42. It's a couple of cars back from those 2 teammates for primetime. They've got to be communicating with each other. I'm coming down. I'm taking lefts. Okay, cool. I'm going to do the same. Lefts and pack it full of fuel. And, that's really something that you kind of have to be mindful of. Because especially here at Talladega and even at Daytona, the 2 plate tracks where draft is king, if you don't have at least one other car with you, you might just as well put it on the hauler.
Absolutely. This is where teammates and timing mean everything. And speaking of timing, as I'm going through here, we have a couple of little groups that seem to have broken out tonight, as looks like green flag pit stops are about to begin again here on lap number 49. Starting to hear a little bit of chatter on race radio.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have this front group here of nine cars, 2 of which are technically at the rear, but 9 cars at in this lead pack. Then we have a second pack back here that's going to be, let's see, about another 10 cars. Then all of a sudden you've got another little trio back here, a pairing. You know, these guys have to make these decisions together. You've got to be able to get on the radio. The 9 has to get on with the 42. Hey, what do you want to do? You know, we're getting into that pit window. Well, I don't know. I want to stay out. These guys have to make that decision and manage to pull out of line and get it slowed down from 188 miles an hour to 55.
And when you get to that line at 55 miles an hour, it feels like you can get out of the car and walk faster to your pit box. As I am hearing guys yelling that they're coming pit this time, although none of them in the lead group. So it sounds like Sterling, Johnson, and Gant all coming in pit side. Everybody else staying out for at least another lap. And I can pretty much guarantee you, Dave, that right now GT Hawkins and Alan Hilton are figuring out what strategy they need to make this happen, as they are right now the last 2 cars on the lead lap in 19th and 20th respectively.
Yeah, I have to be honest. At this point, I think I would stay out the extra lap and try to gain that distance and hope that somebody else makes a mistake. At this point, it's who's going to blink first.
And I'm hearing that a lot of the front runners are going to be coming in. Or at least a few of them. Uh-oh.
That second group, Maxwell Shade, Michael Thwaites, Jeff Taylor, David Clayman, Mark Hanna, Clifton Cockrell, Jeremy Clifton, and Brian Wasserman, all down pit road right now. So from 9th all the way back through 16th, that leaves the 8 cars, well, actually the 7 cars in the lead pack. Dustin Carroll all by his lonesome out here in the 90 Chevrolet Camaro. GT Hawkins and Alan Hilton going to be staying up on track, it looks, as there's a weird formation coming up here, Tony.
A weird formation?
Well,
oh,
Hawkins
no, not
Hilton,
again.
Yep, well, Hawkins and Hilton looks like they're going to come down early. Let's see if we can watch them smoke the tires as they get down to pit road speed. Slower. There we go.
Hilton's flirting with it right now. He was really pushing the issue there. Whether or not he gets popped, that has yet to be determined. Wes Gant popped for speeding off.
Oh. That's not what you want.
Not at all.
But that leaves Bryce Senesac, DJ Weeks, Mike Rominger, David Elliott, Rich Reimuller, Adam Capps, Greg Carr, and Dustin Carroll out on track yet. But now it looks like the lead pack is coming down 4 wide like, wow! A bottleneck on the Schuylkill Expressway at rush hour.
DJ Weeks was flirting with disaster with that commitment cone there on the outside. And now he's got a jockey to get his car down low. Luckily, as soon as he hits the concrete, the car goes into a ghost mode, so he doesn't have to worry about getting run over from behind. But, yeah. So the only ones that have yet to come down are Capps, Carr, Romular, and Carroll.
I'm going to assume, and this is purely an assumption, that Carroll's going to come in with Capps, Carr, and Reimuller, as it sounds like Greg Carr getting ready to come in. You almost have to wonder if Dustin Carroll might stay out an extra lap to gain some of that real estate, since he's already running alone out here and has lost the draft.
Well, he's going to have to come in, take fuel only, and hope everybody else takes 4. That's the only shot he's got.
Well, Ryan Mueller, Caps, and Carr are in, and so is Dustin Carroll.
So as you take a look at what's going to be your effective race lead, or should be your effective race lead, GJ Weeks leads Bryce Senesac into turn number 3. They've got the lap car in front of them. As that is Jason Johnson, rocking the United States Coast Guard. Good on you, sir. Coast Guard's going to be busy this week.
You think?
I try not to. That usually gets me in trouble.
Whoa.
But yeah.
Dustin Carroll almost just got dusted out of the way as Dennis Weeks and Bryce Senesac just came blowing past him like a hurricane. No pun intended. Yeah, pun intended. That's pun intended, yeah. But Dennis Weeks and
Really?
Bryce Senesac, well, just
Dude, you're
nearly.
going to get us in trouble again.
That's not me.
Oh, wait,
that
that's
was
me.
No, I got it last week.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Another league.
Right. But, yeah, right now, DJ Weeks showing the way. Bryce Senesac content just to ride behind him. So, Weeks coming into tonight. Let me just double check my factoids here. Coming into tonight, winless on the season so far. 3 top 5s, 6 top 10s in 9 starts. Bryce Senesac coming into tonight with 2 wins, 8 top 5s, and 9 top 10s in 9 starts.
That's a heck of a slash line. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, one race did not finish in the top 5. There are 2 races didn't finish in the top. No, one. One race did not finish in the top 5. But
Tony,
he still finished in the top 10.
in my Monday Night League, it's an Xfinity League over on the Independence Racing Network. In that Monday Night Xfinity League that I call, I have a driver who, of course, he's the points leader on the season. Last night at Texas was the first time all season he didn't finish on the podium.
Yeah, but we've seen that a couple other leagues too, Dave.
We're on week number 29. That's 29 weeks on the podium.
Okay, we haven't seen that. That's impressive.
I realized at the end he finished 4th. And as I got to the end, I looked at, in my Discord chat, and I'm like, I'm looking for Mike Wright. And I thought, no, I'm not. He finished 4th. It's the first time in 29 weeks that he didn't finish on the podium. That's impressive.
Well, let's think about the race that's getting ready to start here in about 10 minutes.
You must be talking about the Western States Racing League.
Yeah, and how many times have we said the same words? And Bentley Glazer takes the lead.
Yeah.
How many times have those words over the past 2 seasons come out of your, my, or Mike Damone's mouth?
That's accurate. And it's got to be... Whoa, the 24 just got a little wobbly there. But
You got a lot wobbly. Who are you kidding?
well, I was trying to be positive. Wow. Just such a look. And the 14 and the 8 are back where they began at the front, even though they're at the rear, the last 2 cars on the lead lap at the front of the lead pack.
See, they're hoping for something that nobody else wants to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And in fact, while we stop ourselves from even thinking that word, we're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal. He's Tony Trapasso. And this is the Ricmotech ExtremeScoring.info Cup Series live on Sim Racing Media.
Hi, Mom.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious eSports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you. Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious eSports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Dave Regal and Tony Trapasso with you here in the SRM broadcast booth. A lot of action going on in the back of the pack tonight as John Sterling out here racing for position against Brandon Shirley and Jason Johnson. Right now, that is for the free pass in case that thing happens, Tony, that we do not want to speak of, that which shall not be named. As right now, it's getting hot and heavy back here in this second group. Oddly enough, it almost that's interesting. So Sterling running in the lead pack. This could get even more concerning, as we've basically got two packs now formed up here on track.
Well, we do. We have the lead group of 5, plus then we've got Jason Johnson, John Sterling, Brandon Shirley, and Alex Carr all going after each other for that free pass position should something pop off. And you take a look at it right now, you got the 2 lap cars, I call them lap cars jokingly. But GT Hawkins and Alan Hilton, last two cars being scored on the lead lap. Then you've got your leader, DJ Weeks, with Bryce Senesac on him. And then Adam Capps in third, who actually has the person who has the free pass right now, Jason Johnson, right in front of him, as the three of John Sterling trying to make something happen on the top shelf with help from the 12 of Michael Thwaites, who right now is scored as third place.
And taking a look at Michael Thwaites here in that number 12 Space Force Chevrolet, he is now drafting up to the rear of John Sterling, and it looks like Sterling now your lucky dog, as Alan Hilton and GT Hawkins still technically, although that they're at the front of this pack, are still on the lead lap. This is a very confusing thing. We've got the last two drivers on the lead lap leading the leader, as the first driver a lap down is leading
the outside lane.
The outside lane. This is like a salad bowl of confusion. Thank goodness I don't do drugs.
Thank goodness I stopped drinking. But yeah, John Sterling wants to get his lap back the hard way, and he's now in the sucker hole. Goodbye, John Sterling.
Yeah, that middle lane right here, as we watch John Sterling fall back, is just like a parachute on a drag strip. You know, at this point, he is just going to go to the back of this pack and hang out back there as if he's in timeout. Meanwhile, Jason Johnson in the 24 takes that lucky dog position away from him now, as we are still green flag racing after 68 of 94 laps complete here in Talladega, Alabama. And Tony, listen, Talladega, a very historic track, as you know, as many of us do know. 2.66 miles, the distance around this piece. This is the first track that was really designed, truly designed, to be a super speedway by Big Bill France. I mean, you know, after the success of Daytona International Speedway, contact between the 24 and the 55, everybody fans out to get away and give those guys.
55 still doesn't have it collected.
That was a good save.
How did he save that? That car was so sideways.
Well, I'm going to say act of God.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Talladega Super Speedway, as we watch those drivers, going to be getting themselves back up to speed now. The 55 just alongside the 10. Anyway, after the success that they had found at Daytona Beach, Big Bill was like, hey, listen, I'm looking for a place that I would just like to build this big monstrosity of asphalt. Any takers? And Alabama was like, we got some room. Come on down. Great.
And he cut a deal with the U.S., well, at the time it was the Army Air Service, later became the Air Force. And, Dave, if we can jump up to the blimp view, you can actually see the old runways from when this was an Air Force base. You know, and, I mean, they're still here. And you can still land a plane on them when there's not a race going on because Yahoo's parked directly on the runway. What happened to your car?
Plane.
747 hit it.
It was an air. I thought it was just an Airbus 320, but it turned out to be a 757. I don't know. Speaking of what happened to your car, the 12 of Michael Thwaites now pushing along Bryce Senesac on the outside line as they are hooked up and ready to rock and roll and shoot themselves in front of the lapped cars of the 8 and the 14 of GT Hawkins and Alan Hilton, respectively. They're on the low side. They're going to be towing along Mike Rominger. So it looks like Senesac and Thwaites may be working for AAA as they have been towing along the 29 of Mike Rominger.
Well, the other thing to make note of is Jason Johnson just got hung out to dry on that top lane as he was following Rominger, and no drafting help to speak of anymore, as your top three cars are now the lead dogs.
Right, and, you know, as Senesac, Thwaites, and Rominger had gone up there, I guess the 24 of Jason Johnson, he goes from the lucky dog to the third car a lap down, so that's going to be frustrating for him. He's going to be driving with a purpose now as we're 72 laps of 94 complete. We're just about at that money stop time. So we should start to see any minute now these drivers getting ready to take that next round of green flag stops.
I would say within the next 5 laps, being as we saw some guys stretch it to lap 54, lap 53 for Bryce Senesac before he had to come down pit road the last time by. So sometime after lap 75, your money stop time and you're within, you can make it from here distance. But right now that second lane's starting to form up. GT Hawkins trying to pull away, so that is definitely going to make Donna Kays happy. Monica Clayman, hey Monica, thank you so much for joining us like every week. So happy that you're doing better. I get it. You've had some issues. Yeah, it hurts. The first part of the race is about what you're seeing right now. Your boy is doing pretty good, though. He's hanging in there.
Yeah, David Clayman running in 8th position right now in that number 15 Chevrolet. Of course, Monica, who Tony is talking about right now, the mother of David Clayman. Last week, Clayman missed the race as he was bringing mom home from the hospital. She had some surgery there. So, as a good son does, he wanted to take care of mom before he worried about sim racing. But David here, just outside of Fort Bliss, Texas, in the number 15 Scum Chevrolet, getting the Son of the Year award. And tonight, so far, up 12 spots in the 8th position. So, Monica, you should be proud of your boy. We are glad to have you with us. We're glad to have him with us. And, Tony, I'm always glad to be here at Talladega. I love me some Superspeedway plate track racing. To some degree, we don't even have to call it a restrictor plate track anymore, no?
No, we don't, because they don't run actual restrictor plates. They just have the carb base plate now is it's restricted. It doesn't have the little holes in it like they used to when they were carbureted. But Dave, we were talking about David Clayman coming into tonight 16th in points, not that far out of a playoff spot. If the race were to end right this second, Clayman's in.
Well, the race isn't going to be ending right this second, but I'm guessing David Clayman going to be charging very hard as they come back down into turn 1. Bryce Senesac, your race leader, as we are 20 to go at Talladega Superspeedway. Michael Thwaites running in P2. Mike Rominger in 3rd. Dennis Weeks in the 97 Autism Awareness Chevrolet running in 4th. Rich Reimuller just takes 5th away. One of the hardest things in racing, especially when we're here at a Superspeedway, is when guys are side by side like this, you're exchanging positions with every blink of your eyes. So, we might say right now Rich Reimuller running in 5th, but in 2 seconds or less, he could suddenly be in 7th.
If you know how to work the draft and you have somebody that's willing to work with you, you can absolutely do it. As here we go, money stop time. Thwaite, Senesac, Elliott, Rominger, Wasserman, all down pit road. DJ Weeks stays out. Rich Romuller stays out. Jeremy Clifton stays out. Jeff Taylor, David Clayman, all staying out. Greg Carr is staying out. Oh, it just got good, Dave.
The getting hasn't even finished getting good as we are 18 laps to go. The money stop underway for most of these drivers as they haven't come down. DJ Weeks looks like he was last down on 53, Reimuller on 54, but basically between lap 51 and 54. And things going to get pretty questionable again for the 18 and the 14, for the 8 and the 14. Jeff Taylor getting ready to come down pit road, as well as David Clayman and the 24 of Jason Johnson, as he wants to stay in with them, as even though he's a lap down. Johnson coming down. That leaves DJ Weeks atop the pile in the Autism Awareness 97. And, of course, our good buddy Rich Reimuller in the 92.
He's gone plaid to get back up into second place after starting third tonight.
Can you imagine right now in the racing helmet of Alan Hilton and GT Hawkins, just as Reimuller's going plaid, they're thinking, and what do we got on this thing, a Cuisinart?
Yeah, pretty much. And here we go.
The 14, the 8, the 97. Jeremy Clifton in. That should bring Greg Carr along, but it looks like Mark Hanna and Greg Carr are going to stay out. There they come. Timing and scoring had to catch up with us.
And Jeff Taylor popped for speeding off.
I feel like that's an epidemic tonight. I don't want to say pandemic. Epidemic tonight.
Epidemic sound? What?
Yes.
Okay.
The same. As the race off of pit road this cycle going to be won by the 92 of Rich Reimuller in his Chevrolet. DJ Weeks gets off next with Jeremy Clifton not far behind, as well as Adam Capps. As Capps spinning the tires to get out. Oh, and they're wrecking on the apron. Whoa, God! Oh, the 26 just got annihilated.
How is that not a caution?
Don't ask that question.
I just did. Good grief.
We're going to take a look here at that incident with the 26. The 26 comes off of pit road. Basically, it looks like the 26 just got loose coming. Oh, it actually starts up here with the 85 of Brandon Shirley. You can see Shirley here getting loose coming off of pit road. He slides up. The 14 avoids him, probably gets that penalty, but then the 26 plows into the 85. And then, oh, was that?
The
Who was
45.
That, my
that was
goodness. Mark Hanna.
Mark Honeywagon Hanna just
He's probably
nowhere to
very
go.
Angry right now.
I would assume so.
I perish the thought that he's just driving around like everything's fine. Well, that'll change things, Tony.
It's as my normal Sunday broadcast partner Jason Salford would say, that's a sticky wicket. But
Ooh, a sticky wicket.
As they're sitting right now, look who won the pony and look who's about to lose the pony.
Oh, wow. Reimuller just got hung out to dry as Thwaite, Senesac, and Wasserman just came galloping through. That puts Reimuller at a little bit of a disadvantage as DJ Weeks going to come up behind him. Hopefully they've got enough steam to try to catch those three in front of them.
Well, they're within drafting range, and just take a look at the speed right now. Reimuller, 195, 201 before they get to turn 3.
It's fine. It's fine. As Reimuller is now all of a sudden sucking right back up here. The question is, does he try to go high and pass, or does he tuck himself? There we go. There's our answer. Tucks himself right in behind Brian Wasserman. As Wasserman in the number 17 Chevrolet. Tony, I'm going to pull this up here on the ticker so everybody can see I'm not completely nuts. Look at the manufacturers from 1st through 10th. Ladies and gentlemen, as the names tick by at the top of your screen, you can do the same thing. From 1st to 10th, there is a sea of bow ties.
Yeah, they're all Charlie Chaplin right now. The highest running non-Chevy is Adam Capps in the 55, currently sitting back in 11th. And all the Fords are outside of the top 15. The highest running Ford is the GM Goodwrench number 3 Ford Mustang.
Are you having a stroke?
I don't know. I smelt burnt toast, and I feel the left side of my face is dripping down.
You know,
and I can't feel my legs. Oh, wait, I'm in a wheelchair.
I was about to say, do we need to go there right now? Folks, I realize that Tony and I are in an audio medium, but Quite frankly, he genuinely is. He's in a wheelchair. I will vouch for this man.
I legit am in a wheelchair, folks. I've spoken about it a couple of times, but a couple of years ago, I got run over while riding a motorcycle, and it was a hit and run, and they still haven't found the driver that did it.
Well,
and then during my recovery, COVID hit, and I couldn't go to physical therapy, and now I'm stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of my life.
But I mean, it's a nice chair.
Not really. It will be once I get the Jag stickers put on it.
You and the stickers. Really?
Hey, what's the easiest way for me to be able to tell it's my chair at a moment's glance?
When are you not in it?
When I go on the airplane in 2 weeks.
Buddy,
3 weeks.
There's not going to be like... there's...
It's my chair.
There's
You're in
not
my
going to be,
seat.
but there's not going to be a sea of people with wheelchairs. It's not a senior citizens convention.
We're going to Miami.
Oh yeah. Never mind.
You want to have that argument anymore?
No,
we're going to Miami.
At this point, if
There's
any of us
two
is over,
thi-
if any
there's
of us
two
is
things
over
in
the age
Miami.
of- go ahead, you do yours, and I'll do mine.
There's two things in Miami that are guaranteed. Older people and people that are legally immigrating into this country, and we welcome them with open arms.
We do welcome them with open arms. Of course, for the older people, as soon as you turn 65 and move to Miami, it's, hey, you, there, white shoes, white belt, white pants, get in the back of the minivan.
Plaid shorts.
Oh, I love a good pair of plaid shorts. I do.
I used to wear those all the time in college.
Yeah, I do love a good pair of plaid shorts. Look at
Plaid
this.
shorts with a tie-dyed T-shirt. If
Oh,
you're going to
you
make a
would.
statement,
If
make
you
a
would.
statement loudly.
God, the fashion police must have had a ball with you.
Well,
It was the 90s,
thing
I
is-
get it.
well, yeah, but the thing is, my senior year of high school, we had T-shirts made up for the track and field team. Tie-dyed shirt with bright neon letters that glowed in the dark that said, Fulton Track, go hard or go home.
Huh.
And you know what I had under my gown at graduation?
I'm hoping pants.
Plaid shorts and my tie-dye T-shirt from the track team.
Monica Clayman says that you do an excellent job of broadcasting even in a wheelchair. Thanks, Monica.
Well, I've been told I have a perfect face and body for radio.
I mean, I'll justify that one for you, pal. Really? I mean, look, here we... Whoa!
Hey,
Whoa! 17 just decided to get real squirrely here. That drops the 23, which, of course, is a lap car of Jeff Taylor back in the
Well,
line.
he almost got ran the hell over by this lead pack, as Taylor has had nothing but problems getting onto and off of pit road tonight. He wasn't paying attention to where the pack was, and he almost had Michael Thwaite in his passenger seat. Uh-oh.
Jason
Oh
Johnson
my.
crashed. What is going on?
Well, let's find out.
Let's take a look as we see Jason Johnson here in the 24 machine. We're waiting.
Three wide.
Oh, 3 wide. Nothing good happens. Oh, the 3 gets right into him. They collect. But because he stays down on the apron, we still stay green here. That's something we didn't want to see. You know, Tony, it's almost as if the hands of God just guided them down to the asphalt on the apron to keep this race green, as we are 7 to go now at Talladega Superspeedway, and I think this is the first
Place your
time.
bets.
I think this is the first time in my life. Ooh, look at the 3 riding around here. That doesn't look like a very happy race car. We can see right here that
he's
there's a little bit
smoking.
of sheet metal. Well, take a look at this tire.
Oh.
This wheel here, that right front is pointed left, and he's still going straight. And a little bit of sheet metal ripped off the front here. Hey, look at that. An SRM sticker right here on the old fender. How about that?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, we're in the contingency cluster that every car has to have. Yeah, it's because we are their official broadcast partner.
Well,
and we have been their official broadcast partner for a couple of seasons now, and I'll be straight with you. I have yet to have a crossword about the Cup series or the ARCA series that we just got back from these guys. So
yeah, and now Tony, I know that we're getting the ARCA series back here on Sim Racing Media. What night of the week is that? Have you heard yet?
Monday.
Oh, it's going to be on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And when's that starting? Because I saw a discussion about it.
Oh, you had to ask me the simple question, didn't you? Let me go look.
Well, while you go look, we're going to look at Michael Thwaites and Bryce Senesac, Brian Wasserman, Rich Reimuller, and DJ Weeks as basically the top 5 here have decided to go single file, and that can only mean that eventually someone's going to get that itchy trigger finger. But the top 5 have basically shifted everybody that was a lap down car to their rear as they want to be up here to battle it out without anybody in the way. And you know what, to be honest with you folks, it's terrifying as somebody who spends a lot of time laps down. It's terrifying when you get on a super speedway and you're with that lead pack. You don't want to ruin the race for Michael Thwaites or Bryce Senesac or Brian Wasserman. So you're trying to get behind them so that you can let them run their race, but at the same time, draft with them just in case something that we don't really want to talk about, that event which shall not be named, should happen. So right now, your running order, Michael Thwaites, Bryce Senesac, Brian Wasserman, Rich Reimuller, and DJ Weeks, your top 5. Mixed in with them right now is the 90 machine of Dustin Carroll. He would be your lucky dog should something that we don't want to talk about happen.
Pop off.
Right. And Wes Gant, a couple of laps down, looks about 4 laps down. Also part of this group.
David, it looks like their ARCA series started last night, was the first points race for season 12.
Go figure. I personally have been looking for an ARCA series that I'd like to run in.
You kind of can't.
Yeah, I'm kind of tied up on a Monday.
Yeah.
Held hostage till the end of the season.
There you go.
But you know what? There's nothing that I wouldn't do for the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. They really good group of guys. That's why I do it. I do that one for my heart, and definitely not for any other kind of reward. Those guys over there, they are probably the cleanest B class licensed series right now on the servers. I mean, we've gone hundreds of laps with no cautions.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've got a pretty clean league on Monday nights as well. The cleanracing.net truck series.
No pun intended.
Well. Oh, what happened to the 9?
Looking. Bad things. Might have to look back later. It looks like he's got a connection issue.
Oh, he does right now, but that car was horrible looking. We are. As they come out of turn number 4, Thwaites has control of the field. Coming into the tri-oval, Thwaites, Senesac, Wasserman, Reimuller all right there. As they come across the stripe, we are racing back to checkers. 2.6 miles left, Dave.
Absolutely, and Michael Thwaites brings him around. Bryce Senesac in tow with Brian Wasserman in third. I'll tell you what, Tony, this is something that I personally have never seen at Talladega Superspeedway that we've seen here from green to checkers. But right now, Bryce Senesac pushing Michael Thwaites to at least right now, what looks to be the win. But I'm guessing as we start to see him get a little wobbly behind him, he's going to start looking to see if he can make that move as we come into the tri-oval. They pass the entrance to pit road one more time. Senesac looking hungry, but Thwaites leads the way. They don't get out of line. They look at the start-finish line, and Michael Thwaites takes the checkered flag here in the Ricmotech ExtremeScoring.info Cup Series on Sim Racing Media.
And with that, Michael Thwaites just moved up to the 5th seed in the playoffs. We are going to have to wait to get the update from the boss man in the tower, of course, Mr. Ed Morris. But what a finish. Michael Thwaites getting his first victory on the season.
Yeah, I mean, the looks like we're going to be waiting for him to come down here and do his celebratory burnout. And I'll tell you what, if I was him right now, I'd be tearing that grass up and celebrating, because if you're going to make a statement win, it should be at a historic track. It should be, at a place just like Talladega. As he comes around to the start-finish line, gets himself set up, and rips the treads right off these tires here on the number 12 Space Force Chevrolet Camaro.
Absolutely. Hard-fought victory. Played the pit strategy to perfection. Timed his money stop exactly when he needed to take it, and was in the catbird seat when it all counted. He had control, and he was basically telling everybody behind him, especially Bryce Senesac, if you want the win, you've got to go through me. And we all know Bryce Senesac is not that type of driver.
No, very respectful win here for Thwaites, as, like you just said, suddenly he was able to take this one car and make it 3 wide all on its own, taking that ability away from just about everybody else. And let's see if we can get a hold of Michael Thwaites.
I got him. Maybe. Dave, I think you got Michael Thwaites with you now.
Michael Thwaites, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
I got you. How's it going?
Hey, man, congratulations. If you're going to win, you might as well win at the big one. Talladega Superspeedway, 2.66 miles, 94 green flag laps tonight, man. I mean, that's a feat in and of itself, not only, for you, but for everybody else in this field tonight. How are you feeling?
Oh, I feel great. Yeah. Really excited about this one.
Yeah, I mean, you should. Listen, the Space Force Chevrolet, was dialed in, and as Tony had just mentioned moments ago, I mean, you had the pit strategy played just right to get to where you are right now.
Yeah, but it was a lot of work getting back up there, though. It was not easy. I thought I was out of the race. The first pit stop, I lost the draft, and my teammates were up front. And I was about 5 seconds falling back, so I had to pit early and hope I could get with some other cars, and ended up working out. Surprise.
Yeah, story of the night for you is ended up working out. That's for darn sure. So, listen, Michael, before we cut you loose here, is there anybody that you need to thank for this run tonight?
Yeah, of course. Ricmotech, everybody at Extreme. What Ed does here is awesome. My teammates at Primetime. Bryce tonight for staying behind me, pushing me to the win, and what you guys do at ESBN.
All right, man. Well, listen, we will see you next week for race number 2 of the for race 1 of the playoffs. It's going to be out at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. So as we go from the largest track, you will be going to a more intermediate track out there. So good luck next week, and we will see you on the other side, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right. Tony, I believe that you were just working on getting Bryce Senesac. Were you able to get a hold of Mr. Senesac?
We do have Bryce Senesac, your regular season champion. 10 races, 10 top 10s. Only one time not finishing outside of the top 5. Bryce, what a season you've put together so far, but now the hard work begins.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, look at Harvick's 2020 season, and he was going to run away with it, and then playoffs happened. So I mean, we can celebrate for now, but still got a long road ahead of us here.
We absolutely do have a long road ahead of us, and I'm looking at the schedule right now, and we've got Murderers Row coming up, kind of speaking. Round 1 is going to consist of Auto Club Speedway next week. Then we take it to Richmond, and then we go to the road course at Daytona. Any one of those 3 tracks in that first round that is making you cringe just a little bit?
Not really. I'm not sure how like Auto Club in Richmond will play out, but I'm really excited for the road course because I'm really a fan of those. And Watkins Glen, we had a bad start and we came through and still finished top 5. So as long as we don't spin anyone on the first corner, we'll be set.
All right, Bryce, again, congratulations on yet another podium this season. Who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate with your team and, really set the town alive with winning the regular season championship?
That's always you guys for the broadcast. Ed Morris, all he does, and everyone at Extreme Motorsports, Primetime Motorsports. Got everyone in the top 10 tonight. Helped out my teammate Michael Thwaites get the W. It was only fitting that I pushed him to the win at Talladega because he was the one that pushed me to the win at Daytona earlier this season. So that's awesome for him. We got 3 out of 4 of us in victory lane this season. So I'm going to get Mike Rominger in there at some point.
All right. Again, best of luck to you as the playoffs start next week. Bryce, again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Dave, I believe you've got Brian Wasserman with you now.
I do, yeah. Evening, fellas. How are you?
Yep.
Feeling good. Feeling good. It was a good run. A little bit of strategic planning there at that last pit stop that got me out in that top pack, and then I just hung there behind Bryce and ran it out as best I could. We'll give a shout out to Team Birdie Racing. I was racing with the car boys and had a good time with him tonight drafting, and it was a good run. It was a good run. It was good and clean. That was the most important part.
Yeah. Tony and I were just talking, earlier. I think this is the first time in my entire life that I've seen a race at Talladega go green from start to finish. 94 racing laps to get all of these cars across the start finish line in basically one piece. That's a feat in and of itself, man.
Yeah, it really is. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, I think it's the first for me as well. So yeah, it was really, really impressive driving by everyone on the track, I thought.
Absolutely.
Real good run.
And, here you are in the finale of the regular season. Next week, you look to Auto Club. So how are you feeling about going back to an intermediate track?
Auto Club's one of my favorites. I feel pretty good about it. So looking forward to it for sure. Yep.
All right, man. Well, listen, before we cut you loose, is there anybody that you need to tip your helmet to before you go and celebrate with your team?
Yeah, man. Give a shout out to Extreme Motorsports and you guys in the booth. We really appreciate having you around. And shout out to the fans. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it tonight. And Dos Equis. Dos Equis.
Dos Equis. Go ahead and have a Dos Equis on me. I'm personally a Yingling guy, but listen, we can still meet over a beer. I promise, my man.
Absolutely, we can. Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, listen, congratulations, and go ahead and celebrate with that team.
Will do. Thank you, sir. You guys have a good evening.
Well,
and Dave, they have updated the points. Are you ready for this one?
I'm strapped in and ready.
All right. Your regular season champion moving in is the number 1 seed into the playoffs, Bryce Senesac. GT Hawkins, your 2nd seed. Michael Thwaites with his win tonight jumps him up to the 3rd seed. David Elliott is your 4th seed. Jeremy Clifton, your 5th seed. DJ Weeks rounding out the top half of the playoff contenders. Brandon Shirley, Mike Rominger, John Sterling, Clifton Cockrell, Alan Hilton, and Greg Carr round out your championship field of 12. Wes Gant and David Clayman missed it by 1 point.
Off.
1.
That has to sting. That probably tastes like vinegar.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Well,
that's
a
rough one.
When you finish that far out, you almost have to go into Auto Club with a little chip on your shoulder and maybe be a spoiler as we head back to Auto Club out in Fontana, California. And you know what, Tony? you still have to. They earned those spots. Wes Gant and Greg Carr do. So good for them as far as trying their very best. Now, as we head into the playoffs, things are going to look a lot different. But before we get to next week, let's take a look at our final results from this week at Talladega Superspeedway. 94 laps the scheduled distance, 94 laps green, Tony, with Michael Thwaites atop the pile on the podium. Bryce Senesac finishing in second. Brian Wasserman finishes out the podium in third position. Rich Reimuller in fourth. Dennis Weeks finishes fifth. Mike Rominger in the number 29 Chevrolet Camaro finishes in sixth. David Clayman, son of Monica Clayman, here in our YouTube.com live chat, finishes in seventh. David Elliott in the 42 finishes eighth. And Jeremy Clifton and Adam Capps in the 55 Toyota Camry. The first Toyota in the field here finishes out the top 10. And everybody else so far in the top 10, a bunch of Chevrolets, Tony.
I did notice that. And then your last car on the lead lap was the 10 of Clifton Cockrell. Dustin Carroll, Greg Carr, Mark Hanna, and GT Hawkins. What could have been for GT tonight, coming home in 15th. Alan Hilton comes home in 16th and just barely squeaks in to the playoffs. Jeff Taylor, Brandon Shirley, Jason Johnson, Max Shade rounding out your top 20, and Wes Gant, John Sterling, and Alex Carr rounding out your field of 23 tonight.
Well, Tony, another one in the books, another regular season in the books for the Ricmotech ExtremeScoring.info Cup Series here on Sim Racing Media. These drivers have earned every bit of this tonight, and I can't get over the fact that we just went 94 green flag laps. So, Tony, why don't you get ready to take us home and get us out of here?
Well, Dave, to make a point with that, what you just said, in the 7 years that I've been broadcasting here in the iRacing servers, that's only the second time I've ever seen over a 50-lap race here at Talladega go green to checker. But that is going to do it for us here tonight from the big daddy of them all, Talladega Superspeedway, for the regular season finale of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Cup Series. For Mr. Dave Regal, this is Tony Trapasso reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, that until we meet again as you walk down the road of life this week, whatever you do, don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.